Rain World is the most beautiful work of art in all of gaming. Everything from the story to the pixel art to even the animation is a masterpiece. I've played hundreds of hours of this game and not once has it gotten boring or stale. So I think it's safe to say that I like Rain World. Over 260 videos and nearly 330 hours later, it's safe to assume that I would think this game is pretty fun, and many fans would agree. Rain World is widely accepted to be an amazing game within the community. However, looking at critic reviews tells a different story, but I'll get into that later. First, I want to give a spoiler-free review of Rain World and discuss why I love it so much. I plan on making these kinds of review videos for other games in the future. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an upload, and comment below which other games you would like to see me cover. So, Rain World is an indie game developed by Video Cult. It's hard to place it into any one genre of game, since Rain World's gameplay is different from any other game I've ever played. It's like a 2D action survival with a little bit of platforming and Metroidvania-type elements, but there are also some sandbox aspects, and it just ends up getting confusing. The best way I can describe Rain World is unique. The gameplay, art style, and even the AI within this game are so different from everything else. I often see people compare it to Hollow Knight and Ori, but honestly, I think that's just because the main characters look similar. Rain World's actual gameplay is completely different. In Rain World, you play as this little weasel thing called Slugcat. There are actually 3 Slugcats: the Survivor, the Monk, and the Hunter. But the Hunter can't be unlocked until you beat the game once, and the Monk should be disregarded. So it's best to just start the game as the Survivor. The Survivor is the base, default Slugcat, and is how the game is truly intended to be played for the first time. Anyways, you spawn in after a sad cutscene, and then what? This game will tell you how to jump, and then literally nothing else. It doesn't tell you how to fight, where to go, or which creatures to avoid. Rain World has basically no tutorial and just drops you into the game and tells you to deal with it. I see this a lot in negative reviews of the game, because people say it's too difficult when in reality, this is how the game is meant to be experienced. You are playing as a lost little creature at the bottom of the food chain where everything wants to eat you. It's meant to be difficult, and the point of having no tutorial is to give the player a chance to figure things out on their own. It comes down to a lot of trial and error to figure things out. Like how a spear can't damage a lizard when thrown into its head. But when you hit it with a rock, it will flip over and expose its weak spot for you to deal damage. Everything in this game comes down to experimentation and figuring things out yourself, rather than having a tutorial hold your hand. This is really one of Rain World's strong points, as it allows players the freedom to carve their own path throughout the game and come up with their own solutions to problems, such as how to get past a predator. Rain World has a lot of other strong points, the creature design and AI being my favorite aspect of the game, and its story is top tier, though this is review meant to be completely spoiler-free, and Rain World is a game that's really meant to be experienced completely blind, so go play it yourself. So, by how I've been talking about Rain World in this video, you probably assume that it's a pretty highly regarded game, and by looking at reviews from the community, you'd be right. But looking at critic reviews will tell a different story. I actually get a lot of comments from people saying something along the lines of, "Should I play Rain World? It looks really fun, but all the reviews say it's bad." So it's safe to say that critic reviews on a game can really influence whether or not people play the game. When reading these reviews, you'll often see 2 main points brought up, that the controls are bad and that the game is too difficult. The controls are an easy fix. Just go into the settings and change it to something else that you are more comfortable with. It is not that big of a deal, and certainly not worth leaving a negative review over. Difficulty, on the other hand, is kind of a mixed bag. On one hand, I think it's kind of pathetic to badly review a game solely based on difficulty, especially when this difficulty is meant to be a big part of the game, as is the case with Rain World. I mean, you're basically saying, I was too bad at this game, so I didn't like it. Now I'm going to give it a bad review. I often see a lot of other games, such as the aforementioned Hollow Knight, actually get praised for their difficulty. But for some reason Rain World gets negative reviews because of it. It also makes a lot of sense because Rain World came out the same year as the Nintendo Switch and all the games along with it, so Rain World probably wasn't a top priority for the reviewers, who most likely just rushed through it in order to get a review out. This is a massive problem because Rain World really punishes just rushing through it, which is probably why the game was reviewed so poorly. This game is meant to be a slow learning experience about figuring out the game mechanics while slowly progressing through, and rushing through it will obviously ruin that experience. Rain World being difficult isn't poor game design, it's just how the game is meant to be played. In conclusion, when purchasing a game, always look at the audience reviews rather than the critic reviews.